Hello again, everybody. I'm Deb Sofield, and you're listening to my weekly podcast series called Encouragement for Your Life. Many of you know I'm a national speaker, trainer, and coach, and I help people find their voice and learn to use it. I'm also a conference speaker on the topics of public speaking, presentation skills, how to deal with the media, and crisis communication. Many of my other presentations can be found on my website. If your organization has an upcoming conference and you need a keynote speaker, I really hope you'll reach out at debsofield.com. I've got a number of books on the market. My best-selling books, Speak Without Fear and Perfecting Your Platform, are both on Amazon and Audible for those of you who like to listen to books. My series, Encouragement for Your Life, a compilation of these podcasts, are also available on Amazon. Go to Amazon, type in my name, Deb Sofield, and all my books will appear. I've got a great show today. It's something that happened a while back and I wanted to share with you, and I call it Add a Word, Get a Third. I'm Deb Sofield. Thanks for spending these next few minutes with me. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. I've got a great client who's going to be a country music star, and I'm working with her on her interview skills, so when that time comes, she'll be ready for the bright lights, big hair, and big city. One day, while we were working together, I was looking at her CD cover. I asked her who the other people on the CD were, since they were not her backup singers, and I knew they didn't write her songs. She told me how she learned some very hard lessons by being so young, innocent, and trusting in Nashville, Tennessee. She said, "Hey, Deb, don't you know the phrase, add a word, get a third?" "No," I said, "and actually, what does that mean?" "Well," she said, "in the music business, everyone wants a piece of success. So if someone can add a word to a song, they can then claim some sort of ownership and be paid for life." What? That is ridiculous. I say brilliant things all the time to help others out, and I don't get paid any more than my coaching or speaking fee at the time. We decided I should move to Nashville. All right, well, add a word, get a third. Isn't that interesting? But I gotta say, the more I thought about it, the more it ticked me off. And then I realized I see that happening in business all the time. Someone adds a little something to a project and then takes full credit. Someone changes a color on a brochure and tells the world they're the art director. Someone adds or deletes a few words on paper and then claims ownership. I mean, really, who's there to stop them? Except they should hear the words of their mother ringing in their ears to stop taking credit for others' work. It's wrong. And if you're doing it, hey, stop it before it catches up with you. You know what? I've got an idea. Why don't you do it on your own? And then be the owner of the idea or concept without having to resort to stealing others' work. And yes, I said stealing. Just because you run in the front of the parade doesn't mean you're leading it. To be a leader, you have to have followers. And if no one is following you because you are a dishonest person, friend, you've got some work to do. And let's be honest, if you have followers, you're in bigger trouble than you thought. The reason this is important is not just because it's wrong, although that's a big deal, but because if you're not that clever, bright, or verbal, over time, people will find out that you can't turn a phrase, or your design skills are limited to computer graphics. And your paper, well, it's just not that good. And then you've condemned yourself to the role of a cheat, a liar, or a thief. And nobody likes those people. I speak on the circuit on how careful we must be nowadays, especially as speakers, because no matter what we say, someone can bring it up on their iPhone, do a fact check, and then tell the world that our numbers aren't true or the concept's not our own and that's not our design. Wow. If that happens, your days are numbered. Because although people will forgive, they will not forget. Years ago, when I was working on a project to take to market, I had a company called the Original Little Fur Coat Company, and I made Christmas stockings that looked like little mink coats. Don't worry, it was fake fur, but it looked and felt amazingly real. Frankly, they were beautiful. I fell in love with them, and I thought it was a brilliant idea. I mean, why hang an old sock when you can hang a little mink coat? Makes sense to me, hanging on the mantle. Stocking, stocking, stocking. Ooh, mink coat. That must be Mom's. Well, anyway, I needed a seamstress to help me with my pattern design. Now, mind you, I had given her my pattern. She was just going to do some finishing work. She finished the project, and as she was handing me my final project, she informed me that since she had made it better, she was now a partner in my company. I don't think so. Since you were working for hire and you signed that piece of paper that said non-compete, and if you think that's the way I do business, you might want to hire a lawyer. Wisely, she backed off. But isn't it a shame that so many try to get by when they have no standing, no ownership, and no skin in the game? Yes, she did work for me, but the contract stated that it was work for hire and nothing else. And I can tell you that whenever anyone asked me who can help with a pattern idea, I never gave her name. Why? Because she can't be trusted. Her dishonesty overshadowed her talent. I found plenty of other great seamstresses who did beautiful work for a fair price and without ownership. Let me tell you another quick, unhappy story. So I developed several different patterns and I had animal prints for my little coats. I was in Tennessee looking for a production house, and the owner of one of the shops we were in talks with asked to keep a coat for review. And a week later, when I went back to pick it up, she claimed she didn't have it. Now, we know she did. She fell in love with it like everyone else. But instead of making a version of one for herself, she took mine. And that one petty theft of one coat killed our desire to hire her firm to do our work. $120 theft cost her tens of thousands of dollars of work in a depressed area of Tennessee that people needed work. She not only did damage to me, but to herself, and let's be honest, her community. That's crazy. So let's talk about this. Because how you treat others will come back on you or to you tenfold. So let's make sure you're doing the right thing so you can walk that path of success, hold your head high, and do business honestly and fairly. Now, I know if you're listening to me today, you're not the problem. It's the other crazy people in the office. But how you handle and guide others can make a big difference in their lives to put them on the right path for success if you're willing to speak up and be a leader. And let me tell you, it will hurt because you are shining a light in the darkness, but it is the right thing to do. Zig Ziglar said it best, and I am paraphrasing one of his quotes. Remember, the only taste of success some people have is when they take a bite out of you. Okay, I love that one. But let me remind those who spend their time taking a bite out of others to taste success, you could do it on your own. And yes, it takes hard work, but you could do it. And if you can't or won't or are simply too lazy, I'm pretty sure most folks don't like you anyway. So don't add to your troubles by taking credit for others' work. Okay, so I know that today's post's a little bit different, but every once in a while, when something so big hits me, and then I realize that I see it happening all the time, just by different names. And then, because I have a bird's eye view, I can see that damage that comes back on people or the trouble that it's caused. I think someone, in this case me, needs to speak about it and remind you that you are better than that, or friends you should be. And if someone is taking credit for your work, you might want to step up and confront them in private first, and in public if you have to. Because if they're bold enough to steal in private, they will take you for all you're worth in public. So friend, learn to stand your ground. I had a person tell me once that if he was going to steal, he would steal big. Because when you steal a little, people find out. But when you steal big, folks are so shocked by that they can't wrap their head around the fact that you walked away with millions or billions. I guess Bernie Madoff taught us that would work. I remember saying to this person who is no longer a friend, "Hey, how about you don't steal at all?" After a very uncomfortable silence, he backed up and said, "Ah, Deb, you know I was joking." To that I say, the body will go where the mind has been. Be careful. I love the quote, "Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character. It becomes your destiny." James Allen said it best. You are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you. One of my friends has 3 rules for life, and he tells me about them all the time. He says, "Deb, my 3 rules, and everyone else's should be honesty, loyalty, and compassion." And those who are doing well by doing right, let me encourage you to keep up the good work. And don't worry, we can see the difference. True talent can't be hidden. It always shines through. Our friend, do not believe the line that you can add a word and get a third, because one day the piper will come calling. All right, I'm Deb Soffield. You've been listening to, believe it or not, Deb Soffield's encouragement for your rockstar amazing life. And friend, I want you to join me next week so we can continue this journey together as we work towards a better day. And let me remind you once again, I don't care what the world says about you. I want you to know that I care about you. I care about you because I believe you can do big things on your own without stealing from someone else. And I'm going to walk alongside you as we follow that dream together. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.